Oh, and welcome back to yet another garden video. Yes, okay, this video is all about the crop cage. Did it work? What the crop cage is, what it was supposed to do, and yeah, has it actually done anything? If you haven't seen any of my videos, I have been home gardening for like about a year and a half. We are growing all sorts of fruit trees, like those loquats, which are right here. A whole lot of citrus, everything like that. This is the subtropics, so doesn't get snowy or cold or anything like that, but we have a rainy season and a dry season, and we have millions and millions of bugs and all sorts of stuff that try and wipe out your plants. Yes, like these wasp things that build their nests in the actual citrus, all sorts of creepy stuff. But the whole idea was to get a cage so things like the giant grasshoppers, and of course there won't be any grasshoppers when you want to find a grasshopper. Usually there is absolutely tons of them. You can see where they've been. They just wipe out just about everything. Yeah, of course, which is, you know, normal. When you want to see one, you don't see any of them. But the cage, ha ha ha, it has been raining here for the last week or so. Let me unzip the cage. Now, I thought the cage would completely collapse. It has started to fade, and I've only had it for about, 8 months I think it's been. So I don't think the UV is sort of really helping that much with it. I know it's a bit of a problem. Benji, what are you doing? But in the cage, we are confronted with a spider. Get out. Spiders are good because they will eat potential bugs, and hopefully not me. You stay up there, I'm sorry. Oh, look, what are you doing? You okay? Good, you're fine. She's fine. Yeah, they're not venomous or anything. Mildly venomous, but mildly venomous doesn't mean, you know, dead. It just means ouch if they do bite you. Ah, there's one, look. Oh, there's more than one. Okay, I don't know why I whispered. That's why I whispered. So I move my hand around here. Look at that, bloody grasshoppers. Grasshoppers. Ah, gotcha. So these things, which lay their eggs in the soil, are still in the cage. I know, even with the spiders, obviously one this size is a little bit too big to be eaten by one of those spiders. There's another little spider. Actually, there's a super cool spider if we go behind that one. So spiders have managed to get in the cage, which means that there's lots of food for the spiders. Yeah, it's a little bit of a fail, I think. Okay, where do we even start with this? Let me find a home for this and come back. Okay, it has found a home. Well, little bugger of a thing. Okay, so the other problem we had was free-lined potato beetles, and they were living on this Cape gooseberry. They are still here. Look at that. That's one of their larvae. I know, it's a bit of a pain because they are so small, they tend to fit through the mesh, and obviously the mesh is sort of designed more for birds and things like that to sort of stop, but you would think that the grasshoppers and that wouldn't really get in, but they did get in. Oh, look, there's another one. Wow, okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. Okay, it's on me. There it is. So, yeah, we're having fun with pests. So I've sort of removed a lot of the stuff that was in here, and I haven't really done anything with this for the last month or so. So there was a whole lot of tomatoes. I'll put a little bit of that footage on the screen. I just harvested them last night because they were tomatoes that have just randomly grown on their own, I know, from seed, and sort of taken over. What we do have, which is kind of weird, is these weird eggplants, which are actually eggplants. I know. What on earth? So nothing's really eaten that one yet. Something has eaten that one. And there was another one behind me somewhere. Oh, there are bugs going everywhere. Look at that. So I may get some seeds off those and, yeah, regrow those. Otherwise, everything is a bit of a mess. I have turned all this off because the peppers got munched by things. I've got a few strawberries left in here. All the other strawberries I've moved and they're safe over there. Is that a baby tomato? That. This is a baby tomato plant. What on earth? Okay, so we have natural seeds growing where we didn't plant the seeds. That's ridiculous. So, is the cage worth it? I think the cage is worth it if you actually spend... Oh, look, there's another one. If you spend enough time in your garden and continuously look for pests. Yeah. So we did get a fair few sort of crops and stuff growing here and everything was fine. Once you sort of ignore it, everything just gets wiped out. And yeah, that's a bit of a problem. So I think what I'm going to do is redo this whole area, and in the next video or two, you'll see it completely different. Not too sure if I'll do that in this video. Are we jumping now, or is this the end of the video? We'll find out together. Haha. Okay, it is a couple of hours later. Yes, you get it in this video, you lucky, lucky people. I will point out that a good thing with these cages is there is zip doors on each side and you can roll them up, so it makes it a little bit more user-friendly to get in the cage. I think the whole issue with the bugs is more of a user error than anything else, because if you spend at least 10 minutes in your garden every week, you can get on top of the bugs if you want to. I've just been slack the last fair bit, so that's the only issue with that. Solar lights are still working, by the way, so if you saw any of my videos on the solar lights, these are just cheap eBay ones. They work really, really well. Just solar charges the battery. You can turn them on and off with a little remote-y thing at night. And my solar system here. So this is hydroponic strawberries. These are the strawberries that were in the system that I've just moved. Yeah, so I've just moved them into where the peppers were because we had tomatoes grow, they went crazy. Peppers I sort of ignored and they went to crap, but these guys and girls will be fine. And it's just a solar panel there, solar pump down there, pumping the water through these. I've got videos on that, so it's a pretty basic setup. But now we are left with what we have in the cage. I have this garden bed here. I would like to grow something, ideally beer, but beer doesn't seem to grow very well. Unfortunately, we can only hope. Beer and pizza would be the ideal crops. But what do you suggest I grow in this system? We're sort of going into sort of winter, well, autumn then winter, which means summer in most of the year, most of the rest of the world, most of the year, that makes no sense. So things like lettuce will grow, so on and so on, but I do have a lot of hydroponic lettuce, so I don't really want to see any more lettuce right now. I don't know, maybe things like carrots and stuff like that is a good time of year for that. But any suggestions on what you would grow, if you could grow anything you want, apart from beer, unfortunately, and pizza. The two ideal crops, unfortunately. But I've got all this room here too, so I can add more pots of stuff. I've kept the Cape gooseberry. I've managed to get rid of all the little nasties off the leaf, so that should grow back really, really well. I did prune that down too, I think about a month ago, because it was hitting the top of the cage. It went crazy. This is a pepper plant, so that's, well, pepper vine. That's what the pepper comes from. The pepper from pepper comes from. That was a little tiny cutting I got. Thank you very much to the person that gave me that. I just rescued that from down there. It is there. I don't think it'll get too much sun this time of year because it's not overly hot. I've got a, what's that? Yazoo? Little citrus yazoo. That's going to take like 20 years to grow. I'm not too sure where I'm putting that, but obviously in a bigger pot. And I've got a variegated mugwort. It is different than your normal mugwort. And if you don't know about mugwort, it's a medicinal thing, but the variegated one doesn't grow as big as your normal mugwort. So I think it might be a different subspecies or something. It's really hard to say. That has not really grown since I've got it. That was sitting in the garden. Yeah, I have one thing of rice left. Yeah, that is black rice. One survived. It germinated from all the other black rice that I had. I know, one rice. We have one rice. What's for dinner? One rice. And these are the freaky, freaky eggplants that are egg coloured. Yeah, that's weird, isn't it? Thank you, Maddie, for the creepy seeds or seedlings of those. I forgot I had them until, yeah, we dug everything up. What are you doing, Benji? Ah! Don't eat mugwort. Oh my God. Just like deliberately do things like that on purpose. Anyway, the cages do stop dogs. Well, small little dogs that eat lots of things, don't they? Woof. Yes, but that is where we are. So any suggestions on what you would grow in here? Obviously, I've got a fair bit of room that I can put all the pots and stuff in here. This is still early morning, so it gets sun most of the day. This is shaded by the house early morning, and then the sun will come over and the whole thing gets, yes, light, sun, etc. In a perfect world, we'll grow beer, but we are not up to growing all the potential things to start beer, and maybe we will get into that. But any suggestions whatsoever on what to grow in here would be wonderful. And I think that's probably about it. Oh, the purple beans that I did have, if you've seen that in a video, I think 6 months ago, if not, search my channel for the purple beans. That went crazy with the amount of beans. A few of them did actually survive, and I managed to get, like survive as in after I harvest them, a few of them were left over and actually grew back into beans. And now I have some beans I can replant, but I don't know if I want to do purple beans again because they kind of took over. Anyway, suggestions would be wonderful. I'm pretty much open to growing anything, ideally beer and pizza, but you know, that's the ongoing joke. It's never going to happen. Anyway, thank you for watching this wonderful video. There will be more videos, but that is what has happened to the cage in 8 months. I reckon another year and it will be no more. It's just going to collapse. Oh, we did notice that has pretty much bent in the storm. It did manage to survive a super mild, we'll call it a storm. It was supposed to be a cyclone, but yeah. Otherwise, it's sort of doing what it's supposed to be doing, just a little bit neglected. Anyway, we will see you in the next video, and there will be another cage update once we sort out what we're growing in here. Hurrah!